In this video, we're going to be talking about the beginner's guide to starting a business. I'm Harry Davis and I've built and exited a 7-figure recruitment business. I'm also now working with a company that I've actually invested in called Gather, where we've built a community with over 10,000 different founders, operators and investors across the UK. We work with these businesses to help them scale more effectively, more efficiently, and help put them in touch with the right service providers to help them do so. So let's dive straight into it. Within this video, we're going to be covering a few main topics, so 4 main things. So finding a problem, validating that solution, build a simple offer, and then getting your first customers. First of all, finding a problem to solve. You don't necessarily need a big idea. Most people spend far too much time in this actual stage. An idea doesn't need to be kind of innovative at all. It can basically just be a simple problem that you've just come across in your day-to-day life. I think starting with a basic pain point, not necessarily a passion. A good example of this is actually kind of, for instance, don't go and start a bakery just because you love baking. There might be a really nice bakery down the road. Make sure you've actually got that need. So start at a bakery because people in the surrounding area are finding it difficult to actually find good bread. That's why you actually go and do it. So you focus on the actual demand itself. How do you actually go about finding a pain point? Personal experiences. That to me, I think, is one of the main things. Speaking to real people, asking them like what problems are they having, like what's something that they actually spend money on that frustrates them, or if there's something they could imagine like magically solve, what would that be and why? And also just make sure you've actually utilizing a skill that you already have. So if you know how to do video editing, offer editing to people who are actually setting up their YouTube channels. So editing is quite a pain. I use editors to do all of mine because I haven't got a clue how to do it. So for instance, like if you do have that skill set, go put yourselves in front of those people. So find where those people hang out, try and approach them, and then you should be able to find some customers. You don't necessarily need to reinvent the wheel. Loads of people try to kind of come out with these really cool, amazing solutions to massive problems when it's a lot of the time it's very, very simple. Good example is my tech recruitment company that we built, a business called Albert Bow. Recruitment as a whole is a massive problem for big companies. So loads of companies find it really difficult to find top talent. So we're there to actually help them do so. Validating before you start or actually build. So within a product business, this is a little bit easier. You can actually kind of sell before you actually start building. So create a super simple offer. We kind of call it an SMVP or MMVP, which is the super minimum viable product. You can actually do this with something just like ScoreApp or Google Docs. Or if you are a little bit more techy, you can use something like Figma or Canva to help you create a nice little presentation. Start pitching that to people. Just start talking to people about it. If no one actually cares about it and they say, this isn't actually helping me in any way, then don't go and spend the time and effort and money on actually building it. Like, just try to actually like provide them with some sort of value. Now, within Gather, the company I'm working with at the moment, we basically built a Figma, so a nice little presentation, which we then approached loads of different service providers to actually offer them this solution. So we said, right, okay, we've got loads and loads of companies. They all find it difficult to find the right providers. We've built this nice MVP or solution for it. Would you be interested in actually being showcased on there? And if so, what would you pay? And would you actually pay a deposit for it now? We got people to start paying deposits up front. That allowed us to actually utilize that cash to actually put straight into the actual build and development of that tech product. Service businesses are a lot easier. You can kind of directly speaking to those customers. Again, day to day, you can just go and have a conversation with someone, understand what their needs are, and then actually provide them with a nice offer or a solution to that problem. Once you've actually kind of got the idea of what sort of services business you kind of want to be tackling, you already kind of know it's a bit of a problem, and then it's just a matter about actually kind of figuring out what people are actually willing to pay in order for you to actually solve that problem for them. Always make sure you're trying to get people to pay early as well. Getting deposit up front is super critical, particularly if you're just starting out. You want to be able to get that kind of commitment from the customer. You want to be able to get that revenue in the door as soon as you possibly can as well. It's super important. And that brings us nicely onto our third point, which is build a simple offer. You want to make an offer. Like there's a really good quote from a guy called Travis Jones. I think he was in one of Alex Hormozi's books as well. It was like the $1 million offer or the $1 million deal, I can't remember. Make people an offer so good they feel stupid saying no. So within recruitment in my last business, the way that we kind of started off doing this was, rather than us just saying, hey, look, we're a recruitment consultant, we can help you hire some people. The offer was more of like, we'll provide you with 6 CVs of top developers within the next 48 hours and actually help you hire one of those people within the next 2 weeks, and you only pay us on success. So it's creating that sort of like, here's the problem that I'm solving, this is how I'm going to do it, and this is when I'm going to do it by, and you don't even have to pay me until I've actually completed that job. Obviously, with other sort of industries and other sort of businesses, you want to try to get get that money up front. And again, there's a lot of things within the recruitment industry where they're getting retainers and you pay for a certain percentage up front and all that stuff, but we don't necessarily need to go into that. And again, when you're actually building out these offers as well, for services companies, again, it's a lot faster to be able to get to that point of starting to generate some revenue rather than trying to build out a product. So services start faster, but they do tend to scale a little bit slower, because obviously you don't necessarily need to deal with inventory, you don't have to deal with expensive software or building things out or raising funds. You can actually just go out and start doing it, and the main cost is actually your time rather than anything else. And then finally, getting your first customers. Now, don't waste time and effort on adverts or anything like that. Like, utilize your network, utilize friends, utilize family, go to events, like just go and speak to people consistently. Reach out to 100 people. Just like, yes, it is a bit of a grind, but you can always find a wide variety of individuals across a wide variety of different social media channels. So once you've understood who your customer is, like, find out where they hang out. Is it LinkedIn? Is it Facebook? Is it Instagram? Is it TikTok? Is it X or Twitter? Always make sure you are kind of approaching these people consistently, approaching them with the right messaging as well, and that right offer. And that's where you'll really start developing those customers. Always make sure you're collecting testimonials as well. Testimonials are super, super critical, particularly in the early stages for businesses. Even if you're trying to get that first testimonial, you're really struggling to get a first paying customer, just do some work for free, for instance, particularly if you're trying to set up, let's say, an agency. Do that first bit of work for free, grab a testimonial from them, get that social proof, because one good review equals more trust, which then obviously equals more sales. And don't overcomplicate it. So many founders are always thinking that they need to create the website, they need to incorporate their company, get all their accounts in place and all of this stuff before actually going out and starting and speaking to customers. You don't need to do this. So you can forget about a website, just use something like Google Docs. You can set up a Notion page for free. You can use Calendly as like a nice little a link which you can send to people to set up meetings in your diary. Use Stripe for payments. It's super, super simple. You can even just invoice people directly by creating an invoice in Word or anything like that. Forget about incorporating. Don't worry about doing that until you've actually started driving some sales and having your first customers as well. Whether or not you want to have that at your home personal address, you can do so. If you don't want to have it at your personal address, just speak to some accountants and then they can actually help you out and actually have your registered address as their address, for instance. I think there's a really, really famous quote as well from Winston Churchill, which I quite enjoy, which is, perfection is the enemy of progress. Now, to me, this really, really resonates, particularly with startups and actually someone looking to start their own business. So many people spend ages thinking about it, talking about it, and they never actually do it. So just have a crack at it, make loads of mistakes, learn from those mistakes. Like, this is how you're actually going to grow. This is how you're going to develop your product, develop your offering, and understand how you can then start solving different people's problems with your particular solutions as well. It's going to be a wild, wild journey that you're trying to actually go on, but hopefully we can then just throw some nuggets of information to help you along the way. If this has helped you at all, please hit that like button, subscribe. We're going to be putting together a lot more videos like this, how to help people kind of build these businesses and also kind of go through the mental strains of what it's like to go from a corporate position into and setting up your own company as well. We're all here to help. So any questions, leave them in the comments below and then we can move from there. Cheers.